Do you know there is a completely free embroidery painting software that is being used by more and more people? This software not only enables the creation of Indoodle works, but also supports cost calculation and Wi-Fi transmission. As a beginner, you don't need to worry at all. It is very easy to operate. Now, let's officially step into this world of free digital software. First, go to our Institch official website. Slide the mouse down and click on Free Use. Enter this page and log into your account. It should be noted that if you are first time using this software, you need to apply. The application tutorial can be found here. After the system backends approve your application, you can use it permanently for free and directly. Now we have officially entered the interface of a digital software. One, you can see the entire layout is very simple and concise. The main function keys are located in upper left and upper right corners of the canvas. Click the first button on the left, which is Settings. Then 4 buttons, namely Add, Export, Show, and Preference, will appear. Click on Add and add the image below. Select Image and add it in. Let's enlarge it and you can see it more clearly. Select the ruler tool and you can measure the distance between 2 points, just like I did. If you don't want to start from scratch, then click on Add Embroidery Pattern and choose DST or DSB format for the embroidery pattern. Based on this embroidery work, modifications can be made. For instance, as I did, the color of the entire pattern can be changed. This feature is very user-friendly for secondary creators. Now let's go back to the function key area and click on Export. Here you can save your design in DST or DSB format and store it on your computer or other device. Then click Show. Here are 5 buttons. You can set a display effect according to your own preference. For instance, you can enable 3D effect or disable it. When you open stitch points, zoom in, and you can see every stitch made during embroidery process. When the connection line is opened, you can see the part of connection line, just like the part indicated by the arrow in my drawing. Now click on Function Code. This function enables you to understand what actions are performed after each stitch is completed, whether it's cutting the thread, skipping stitch, or stopping. After click on Canvas Center Point, you can choose to enable Canvas Center Point or disable it. It all depends on your preference. A smart friend will notice that the Preference function key, exactly the 4 buttons here, are set according to your preference. For instance, you can click Room Model to right. You can transfer the room in, room out, and undo or redo. Function perform left side of the canvas to the right side of the canvas. You can also drag the dots on this number axis to enlarge or reduce your embroidery pattern until your eyes feel comfortable. Back to the previous step, click on Layout Grid and you can choose to enable or disable the grid in the preview area of the canvas. Click on Guides and you can enable or disable the ruler on the left side and on the top. Click on Automatic Pattern Splitting. It will be enabled. Once enabled, it can prevent the design from being too wide, which might cause the machine to fail to embroider. Therefore, everyone must enable it. Back to function keys. Here is a shortcut key for the 3D function. Click on the white leaf, and the 3D effect will be activated. Click on the leaf with the linear pattern, and 3D effect will be turned off. When zoomed in, the lines of this pattern will be very clear. Next, click on Set Start EMB Point. This function is used to set starting and ending positions for the embroidery. You can place the starting needle and the finish needle at the same position or at the different positions. When you choose the same position, you only need to select one of the 9 points as your position. It can be placed in the middle, or in the upper left corner, or in the lower right corner. It can be placed on your canvas in any of these positions. When I choose different starting points and ending points, I need to set these two positions separately. For instance, I can set the starting point at the upper left corner and the destination point at the lower right corner. Of course, they can also be set in the middle position. In this way, it's equivalent to set them at the same point. The two buttons below connection method can determine the running mode of the thread between the starting point and the ending point. If you choose jump stitch, then during embroidery process, the machine will skip from the starting position to the first stage of embroidery pattern. This distance is blank, and there won't be any stitch marks. If you choose running stitch, then when the machine is doing the embroidery, it will start from starting position and leave a single stitch mark between the first and the second stitch of the embroidery. The value on the right of the stitch length indicates that you can adjust the maximum stitch pitch length from the starting position to the embroidery point. Generally, the default setting is 7 mm. The fifth icon is the selection tool. When I am using the ruler tool and want to switch to the selection tool, I can click this function key to switch quickly. It's very convenient. Okay, just now I have finished introducing the functions on the left side of a doodling page. Now let's learn about the functions on the right side. It involves drawing, stitch list, and color, and so on. They are more important parts. Okay, let's take a look at it together. First, let's click on the drawing tool. These are 3 stitch tools for you to choose from: round stitch, centerline stitch, and fill stitch. These are available for your selection. Click on the first round stitch option. It can draw lines based on your mouse movement trajectory. Click on the second option, centerline stitch. It can draw the centerline based on your mouse movement. And with it, you can create tatami stitch or satin stitch. The last drawing tool is fill stitch. It can draw contour lines based on your mouse trajectory and generate fill stitch within the contour lines. This is the main difference between fill stitch and centerline stitch. Now, let's take a look at how to draw some simple shapes using these tools. Select round stitch. These are 4 options under the shape tools category: straight stitch, rectangular stitch, square stitch, and circular stitch. Click on the straight line icon, and you can draw every standard straight line stitches. Click on the rectangular icon, and by moving your mouse in hand, you can draw out a rectangular stitch. Click on the square icon, and you can draw a square stitch. It's very simple and easy to operate. Finally, let's click on the circular icon, just like I did. And then we can draw a beautiful circular stitch. Return to the drawing tool, and select the section icon, centerline stitch. Just as in the previous operation, click on the straight line tool below, and you can use the centerline stitch to draw a straight stitch line. Click on the rectangle tool, and you can draw a rectangular stitch using the centerline stitch. Next, click on the square tool and the circle tool, respectively, and you can also generate the centerline stitch patterns of the corresponding shapes. Isn't it very simple? Okay, let's go over the similar operation again. Step 1. Once again, select the drawing tool. Click on Fill Stitch. Please note, in this mode, the straight line tool cannot be used. Now, select the rectangle tool, and by dragging the mouse, you can draw a rectangular pattern filled with stitch patterns. Click on the square tool, and you can draw a square pattern filled with stitch marks. The same operation, select the round tool, and you can draw a circular pattern with the filled stitches. The above is the complete demonstration of the function and operations of the brush tools. You can utilize these tools to draw any graphics you desire. Now I'm going to introduce all the functions of the stitch list on the right side of the brush. There you can see all the colors used and the corresponding stitch patterns. Click on All to the right of the stitch, and you can select all the operation steps at once. At this time, you are dragged to adjust the position of the patterns on the canvas. Surely, you can also choose one of these patterns to adjust its position, just like I did. Look at this little eye icon. When I want to hide this graphic, I can click on it. When I click on it for the second time, the graphic will show up. It's very interesting. Now, if you click on the color icon, you will see a color list. Select the pattern you want to modify the color of, just like I did. Then go back to the color palette to change any color you desire. You can either click to change it in the palette or drag the color axis below to make the change. The newly changed color will be synchronized in your stitch list, facilitating further management and adjustment. Do you think this makes it very clear? Now, these are two colors in our canvas, which will be synchronized and presented in our stitch list. If you select any of these colors, the system will automatically lock out the stitch patterns in the canvas that use this color, just like this. Now, let's go back to the color list. Click on the thread brand, and here you will be presented with 100 color numbers of embroidery thread that we will present for each word. You can choose the color you like. Click Palette page again. Under the Used icon, you can see the colors currently used on the current canvas. Then, under the History icon, you can see all the colors that have been used before. I believe that you must gain some preliminary understanding of this free doodle software. After through my introduction, you should be able to apply these tools to carry out some simple designs. So, how can you make your doodle work more defined? Click Parameter. Here, you can adjust the type of stitches, their width, their density, the direction of centerline, offset, etc. If you are interested in, let's read it together. First important, image and adjust it to size that makes you comfortable. Use the centerline stitch to draw a straight stitch. Click Parameter and a list will appear on the left side of the canvas. Select the straight stitch and its specific parameters will appear. Now I will introduce them to you one by one. There are two stitches under stitch type, satin stitch and tatami. You can switch according to your needs. Width is the stitch width. When I increase the value, the lines in the canvas will become wider. When I decrease the value, the lines in the canvas will become narrow. I set it to 3. Density is where you adjust the stitch density. When I lower it to 0.2, the stitch of the line becomes denser. When I raise it to 0.7, the stitches of the line become sparser. Usually, we set it to 0.38. Inset reference to the offset distance. For example, if there is some distance between the stitch I draw and the picture, you can adjust the insert value to make them fit together. Next, rounded start and rounded end are the buttons for adjusting the angles of the start and the end positions of the stitch. Turn on rounded start and you will find that the start position becomes a circle. Turn on rounded end and you will find that the end position becomes a circle. Turn off rounded start and the original state will be restored. Of course, you can also customize the value here, like this. The larger the value, the sharper it is. The smaller the value, the smoother it is, which is a very interesting function. Next, Stitch Improve is a stretch composition function that can be adjusted according to the different fabrics and the pattern sizes. When you turn it on, the system will automatically select the parameters of both and 0.2 mm for you. At this time, your stitches will be widened by 2.2 mm to the left and right. When you select side A, the stitch width increases to the left. When you select side B, the stitch width will increase to the right. Of course, you can customize the value of this width here. If you want to set the bottom seam, click on Delay. It can fix your fabric well. Generally, we choose 2 layers. Contour is a side stitch, which is 2 vertical lines on both sides of my stitches. Zigzag is this zigzag line. Zigzag times 2 is a double layer of zigzag lines intertwined together. Double layer fixed fabric, more stable. Usually for this kind of satin stitch, we will choose contour for the first layer and zigzag for the second layer. Now, let's look at the last function code, which is the key to set the way the current needle is connected to the next needle. First, turn on function code in Show. Then go back to Parameter. There are 4 options: None, Trim, Jump, Stop. For example, if you select Trim, a small pair of scissors will appear here, which means that when you embroider to this position, you need to cut it with scissors, and then proceed to the next section of embroidery. So far, the main functions of Institch Doodle has been explained. Careful friends will find that every time I select any stitch or pattern, the function menu at the top will appear. Don't ignore it, because it can quickly adjust the stitch or pattern you currently select. First, use the fill stitch to randomly draw a pattern. Click on Section 2, select this pattern, and a row of function menus will appear at the top of it. The first button is a horizontal flip button. It enables you to flip the selected needles or the pictures horizontally. The second button is the vertical flip button, which flips the selected stitch or the picture vertically. The third button is the Modify Stitch Point button. When I select it, Many anchor points will appear on this line. You can change the shape of the line by adjusting these anchor points, just like I did here. Keep operating until you achieve the desired stitch effect. The fourth button is the Fill Stitch Angle Adjuster button. I enlarge it for you to see it more clearly. Locate the angle points within the stitch pattern, and rotate and drag briefly to adjust the angle of the sewing direction, just like I'm doing here. The fifth button is the Copy button. Click on it. Enables the copying of the selected stitch, thereby generating a complete identical set of a stitch. The sixth button is the Delete button. When I click it, the stitch I have selected will be deleted. It's very convenient. Okay, let's undo the previous operation. Click on Stitch List and select both buttons. At this point, you will notice that a new function named Group appears in the top-level function menu. Click on Group, and the two graphics will become one group. When you drag one of the graphics, the other one will move along with it. Thus, you can simultaneously drag all the elements within the same group. When you click on Ungroup, the elements within the group will be ungrouped, enabling you to separate them individually and make separate selections. This is a very practical function. Finally, let's introduce the lower left part of the canvas. The arrow pointing to the left indicates undo. The arrow pointing to the right indicates redo. Drag the interface room scroll bar to room in and out of the canvas within a certain range. The three small dials below can adjust the current canvas room size. Click on it will pop up the Quickly Adjust Canvas Size interface. You can quickly adjust the canvas size according to your own needs. Alright friends, we have now covered basic tiers and features of Institch software. I bet you are eager to dive in and start your experimenting on your own. What are you waiting for? Click the link and start creating your first digital masterpiece. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Of course, if you run into any questions during using the software, feel free to drop a comment or send me a message. I will get back to you as soon as possible. Plus, in the next video, we will walk you through creating a complete giraffe design using Institch. Stay tuned. If you are interested, be sure to subscribe now. You won't want to miss it. See you in the next video.